Hey, you. Thank you for joining me for episode number 147 of Better Regulate Than Never. So, happy 4th of July. Now, I just realized that, my nails are blue. So, in the United States, red, white, and blue, celebrating our independence. So, I guess it's kind of blue. I really wanted to wear this top because it's so cute. And I didn't even think about that it isn't really 4th of July looking. But anyway, that's okay. I usually don't follow the norms of what you're supposed to be wearing anyway, because I like to wear whatever I want to wear. But I hope you're celebrating and having fun on this 4th of July if you are in the United States. And so I wanted to kind of talk to you about what are you celebrating about your life? Because where are you practicing your independence and freedom? Because we can be celebrating those things about ourselves, even if you are a minor. And I know when I was a minor, I felt like I had no control over anything. All these adults are telling me what to do all the time. But you actually have a lot of control over things in your life. You have control over how you decide to think about things. You have control over the behavior that you have in response to things that happen. And we all have that control. And as a young person, I know it's hard to realize that you have that control. And I know I didn't, but I'm telling you that you really do have a lot more control over so many things than you would ever imagine. But I want everyone, but especially young people, but every person to declare independence from your self-limiting beliefs. Because I know I spent half of my life practically trying to convince myself that I was a good person and that, I just kept thinking I was bad. I was thinking that I wasn't as good as other people. I was thinking I was lazy. And I even thought that I couldn't be successful because there was something hidden inside I didn't know about, or some kind of an unchangeable flaw that I had. And none of that was true. It was all thoughts that I had and beliefs that I had, which in the life coach school, they say that a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking over and over again and you believe it. And that is actually what it is. So if we can declare that we are now independent from those things, and I can say now, that doesn't mean that you don't have doubts about things and that you don't worry about things or get scared about things, because that's normal. That's what everybody does sometimes. But I have declared independence over my thoughts because now I know that I have control over them. I know I don't have to believe them. And so I can work through those things and not believe them for very long or not think them for very long because I have agency. I have control over them. So what would you be doing if you weren't listening to those limiting thoughts? I'm imagining that everyone would be doing successful things. Now, they could be successful things in different areas, of course, and we want that because we got to have people doing all the things. But what would you be doing if you weren't allowing those self-limiting, those doubting thoughts and beliefs to take over and change your reaction to things? You can decide that you are free of self-doubt and fear and habits that don't serve you. And so if today is your Independence Day, what are you going to stop doing? Or what are you going to start doing? If you're not sure where to start, this podcast is a great beginning step. If this is the first time or the first episode you've ever listened to, I think you'll get some kind of ideas on how to start thinking about things differently. But this is number 147 of, that's a lot of episodes. Like every time I look at it, I just get astounded by it. And so if you haven't listened to a lot of the episodes, go back and just randomly pick one that sounds good, or like just choose a number that's your favorite number and go to that episode. Because I believe that when we're ready to hear a message, we find the message, or when we're ready to be taught something, we find the teacher. And so many times when I've wondered about something and I just want some kind of encouragement, I'll just randomly pick any kind of podcast or episode that I have never listened to before, and I'll get something out of it like, oh, I totally needed to hear that today. So I hope either this episode is the one where you're like, oh my gosh, I totally needed to hear that today, or go back and listen to some of the others, because there's so many different topics. But it's almost all about your thoughts and how different ways that we think about things and different things that we believe and ways that we've been socialized are getting in the way a lot of times of the people that we want to be. So, Independence Day is a great time to imagine the life that you want to have and start making small changes. So, what would be one tiny step forward towards a goal that you want to do? Like, if you want to start walking more, maybe today you just put your walking shoes on. Maybe that's the only thing you do, but it's one step closer. Or if you want to start eating healthier, what's one healthy change that you could make today? Maybe you don't drink one of the sodas that you were going to drink today. Or maybe you cut out one snack that you were going to eat. Just so simple to just do one small thing. Also, not today, but on Friday was the end of quarter 2. Now, when I was in school, we had quarters, but there were 4 quarters during the school year. They were 9-week quarters. And in the business world, the whole year is broken into 4 parts. And so there's 4 quarters of the year, and you're supposed to be like setting goals and like trying to move forward and doing different things during those quarters. And I'm still working on that because it's just a whole different concept for me. But I did put it on my calendar that it was the end of quarter 2 and that I need to think about what goals do I want to have for this quarter, and what are some steps to go forward with that. So that's kind of exciting. Or you can look at the 4th of July as it's like the middle of the year, kind of. So we're about halfway through the year. And maybe every 4th of July, you can look at, okay, I'm halfway through. How's it been going? What changes do I want to make? What kind of things do I want to do differently? And just think about, maybe that's always, we have the new year where we have resolutions or, decide what we want to do for the new year. Maybe this is mid-year. What do you want to do the rest of the year? How do you want the school year to start? Maybe what job do you want to try to get during the school year? Or what job do you still want to try to get during the summer? There's still time. Fireworks are a big part of a 4th of July celebration. And if you think about fireworks as igniting your passions, with fireworks, you have to have some energy to get it started. What is going to ignite your energy to start making these changes towards this life that you're wanting to create? And some of you are already on a journey and doing some of the things that you want to do, and you just need to do more of those things or maybe improve on them. And some people haven't started yet, and it's time to get started. It's like wherever you are in that, you can think about how fireworks are like this energy, and it's, igniting and exploding out. And what kind of things could you be doing in your life? What kind of changes, goals, ideas can you get started on those things? Celebrate today all the barriers that you've already overcome, because we all have barriers. Some of us look around, and I know I've looked around, and usually, because I haven't had a ton of barriers in my life, and I know that, and I understand that I don't have a lot of barriers in the way, and I try to be very understanding and give grace to people who do. And I try to help break down barriers for people because I guess I'm in a position to do that sometimes with people. But we've all overcome something and some things. And so celebrate those victories. Think about the things that you have accomplished, the things that you are doing that are going in the right direction, things that you just want to improve on, and that's amazing. Always acknowledge your wins. And if you're somebody who doesn't see a lot of wins, really be paying attention to them, because what our brain pays attention to, we see more of, or what our brain pays attention to, we do create more of. So if you're always focused on what's not going right, you're going to see a lot of evidence for things that are not going right, and it actually makes your results not very good. So you definitely want to be looking at what's good and what's going right, because that's going to produce more of things that are good and going right. Last week, I talked to you about different kinds of mentors in your life, and those can be people, real life people, or people that you follow or pay attention to that are celebrities or something. Also, books or podcasts can be mentors, and those are just people and things that teach you tools to use on your journey. And those teachers are going to help you to gain independence and help towards freedom, which is what we're celebrating on July 4th. I so desperately needed someone like this in my early journey. My parents were good people, but they had no idea how to talk to me about anything. And I think it's just because of generational differences and the way that they were socialized and brought up. But also, I just had quite a bit of different personality than they had, and they just really didn't understand where I was coming from, and I didn't understand where they were coming from. There was also a bigger age difference. Now it's not the same, but in those days, I feel like anyway, most of the people in my class, their parents were of, 20-ish age when they had them as children. My parents were in their 30s, and my dad was 40 when I was born. And so they just were in a different era than I was, and so it was hard for them to talk to me. But really, when I think about the adults in my life at that time, I can't even think of one person that I could have talked to about this kind of stuff, or that was giving me any kind of guidance on what tools I needed for the journey and how to be a good person. And other than, Christianity or going to church, like, of course, those were good ideals and good ideas, I guess, of how to be as a person, but that doesn't really help you in the same way. Like, you just need somebody who has this open, honest space for you to be, where you can be whoever you want to be. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and it's free to do that. And there's no judgment and there's no agendas. And unfortunately, some of the adults that I had in my life were actually predators. And I'm sure that is still going on. I'm sure there's, obviously that's probably never going to go away, that there's adult predators out there. And so kids really even have to be careful, because even somebody who seems like a good person, a good adult that they should talk to, maybe isn't. So I just want to make sure that my voice is out there telling kids the things that they need to hear, and having that open space for them to be whoever they want to be, and question things and be angry about things, and that it's all good and it's all okay, because it's just part of the process. So that's really the main reason why I have this podcast and why I am coaching and mentoring kids, because I really think there's such a need for it. And sometimes they don't even know that I'm the person that they need. They just know that they don't feel good. And I just want to have the opportunity to talk to whoever and everybody that I can. That's why I love that this podcast goes around the world, because somebody may accidentally stumble upon it and be like, oh, this is what I needed to hear. And this is a mentor for me, even though I don't ever meet them. But I hope that there are people out there. I'm obviously not the only person. I meet so many people every week that are doing amazing things for young people. And so you just got to go out and find them. And they may not be in your school, and they may not be in your home, and they might not be in your community, but you can find them. Just keep looking, because those people can be your mentors and your guides to find this independence and this freedom from things that are really painful for you. And so I just don't want you to give up on trying to find them. I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for everyone who listens to this podcast and watches this YouTube channel. And I want to get to know more of you. So comment to me, send me messages, book a consult so that we can talk to each other in real life. this is my life's work. And I just want to help young people get on a journey and be able to do the things that they want to do in this life and never think for a second that they're not good enough or smart enough or that they're bad people. I was having a coaching call this week where the girl said, I don't think I can control myself, and that makes me a bad person. And what she described to me was normal, regular behavior of letting emotions get the best of her and then yelling, or letting the emotions get the best of her and wishing ill on someone. That is what everyone does. But we can learn how to deal with that in a way where we don't have the end product that turns out negative. And she just needs a guide. She just needs somebody to talk to her about this and show it to her. So I didn't find this until just a few years ago for myself, and I don't want anyone to be waiting that long. So think about the 4th of July, Independence Day. Even if you're in a different country and this isn't your Independence Day, declare independence today from limiting beliefs and things that are getting in the way of you doing all the fun things and the amazing things that you're going to do in this life, because we all have this amazing journey to go on, and you just have to find those mentors and those people that are going to help guide you there. So have a wonderful and safe 4th of July, and I'll talk to you soon.